Jeremy White podcast. Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Sweet. Oh, I'm so excited. We're finally getting to do this. After all kinds of back and forth and all kinds of madness, here we are.
Life is madness, though. You know, I mean, I feel like everybody's lives are madness a little bit these days. But yeah, we are together. So it's really good to see you.
Tell me about it, man. This new record, which I want to talk all about. I'm really excited. What are you up to these days, though? Like, how's life treating you?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in, you know, like everybody else is, jumping through the hoops, jumping over those hurdles when they come, you know, those flaming hoops of fire. You just keep jumping and trying to keep up with my two little kids and who are getting bigger than me, actually, and writing new songs. I mean, you know, enjoying the beautiful weather. So, and we've got this great new album out. So I feel like, you know, things are going pretty good for us right now.
Yeah, I mean, that must be intense. You know, you got two. How old are the kids?
Right now, 9 and 10. So it's that crazy time of year where it sounds like I had them like right next to each other, and I'm totally.
Are they like, you know, fighting and? Yeah.
Are you kidding? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. But you know, and then May's going to come. So my daughter will actually turn 11, and my son right now thinks he's catching up with her. He's like, I'm 9, you're 10, I'm getting there. And then she'll jump ahead to 11. He's like, oh, I am so close. I was so close.
Yeah. Kids at that age, they're just, you know, it's almost like it's competition, you know? It's like
everything is competition.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. One of them starts talking and you have to like pay attention to this, and this one starts talking and you're like, and then that one gets mad if you know, so it's like it's a balancing thing constantly.
Yeah, geez, a lot is going on at the Blackmore house. I like it.
Always. We're always like keeping busy, always got a lot of energy going on here. So and then Ritchie hangs out in the den and plays his acoustic guitar, which is always nice. So
there you go.
You get the front row concert of that, so it's always good.
Which, I mean, isn't a terrible thing. I mean, come on.
No, I am not complaining about that at all whatsoever. We've had the constant stream of music in our house, you know, no matter how many lockdowns, how many quarantines, whatever's going on, we got the good music going on here, so it's all good.
No, I mean, like, how does that work? You know, do you hear him just sitting in the den playing his guitar and you're like, oh, I have a melody idea for that? Or, you know, like, how does a song like happen for you guys?
He usually comes up with the melodies for Blackmore's Night, and I mean, I can hear him right now in the other room, he's calls it noodling. He's noodling. But, you know, he's constantly keeping his fingers going and, you know, but he actually has old school tapes. Like, we don't really do, you know, like digital stuff a lot, even though I do have iPads and I have downloaded like these apps so he could press record if he wanted to record, but
yeah,
it's too much work. He'd rather just press play on a tape or record on a tape, like an old school tape, you know.
Yeah. So he's got like an old school like tape recorder there, like with the cassette and like the old clink, you know, like
many of them laying around the house in drawers and like all over the place. So if he wants to, he doesn't really like track it all down, but he knows like when he comes up with an idea, if I'm not there or if it's something that he wants to keep in mind for the future for one of our albums, he presses the click on the tape.
That's amazing.
Yeah, then he goes through them. He goes, you know, like whenever if we're going to go into the studio, if he's not going to write something like right away, or if he needs some sort of extra inspiration, he just goes back to the extra tapes and hits rewind and goes through them one by one and just listens to them. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually really cool to hear. Because I mean, you know, I've been doing a lot of like songwriting conversations lately, and it's like, you know, I talked to Ed Sheeran a couple of years ago, and he was talking about how in his phone it's just all voice notes of like melody ideas and stuff. And then there's a singer named Charlie Puth, and his debut album was called Voice Notes, where everything it all came from a voice note. So that's really cool to hear that you guys are recording them on a tape.
Well, he doesn't even have a cell phone, my husband. Ritchie doesn't have a cell phone. So, which is funny because he was having a lot of problems with his car lately. He's got this 1992 Mercedes, you know, guys in their cars. He's in love with this car and he doesn't want to get rid of it. But apparently in the summertime, if it gets too hot, the car gets a little temperamental. So he literally can't drive to anywhere he can't walk back from. It gets even better. So we have, you know, so I got him the cell phone. I'm like, listen, if that's the case and you're going to do that and you really don't want to get rid of this car, and, you know, I suggested if you want to keep it, can we at least make it into a planter or something so you have it? But no, he wants to drive it because he loves his car. So I get it. Okay, it's his baby. So, but I got him a cell phone. So one day he goes and he drives around the corner to like a local pharmacy or whatever. And then like an hour later, it's like 100 degrees hour later, he comes storming in the door and he's like sweating. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, my car died again. I'm like, what happened to your cell phone? Couldn't figure out how to use the damn thing. So I'm like, well, what is it for? Like, if it's not for an emergency, what are you going to do? What's your case of emergency? Like, you hit someone over the head with it? Like, you're supposed to dial and call me and I will come and get you in worst case scenario. But no, he will do, again, back to old school. He will walk it back home. He's like, hit the car. Yeah. Faulty Towers thing where like take the branch and like hit the car with it. And then he brings it back home. And then, so
he'd rather walk home with his pride in his hand. That's kind of funny. I can't picture him standing on the side of the road, trying to figure out, the jitterbug or something,
I know, exactly.
You got to get one of those like cheap ones from Walmart, like the pay-as-you-goes kind of thing.
The little burner phones or whatever, but literally it'll sit in the car. I mean, it was there. It was on the driver, on the passenger seat, just waiting to be used. And no. So I said, at this point, I'm like, okay, carrier pigeon, like smoke signal. What are we going to do just in case I need to reach you or you need to?
You should just always have a Strat and an amp and just crank a high note. That'll be the signal.
Exactly.
It's funny. My grandparents, they have we got them one of those cars and it has the OnStar in it. So you have to push the OnStar button. It's like, hello, welcome to OnStar. And he's yelling at the thing, dial. And he can't get it. Did you say 5-1? No, I didn't say it. So it's even to get the automated thing going, it's a hassle.
No, I know. I mean, my mom has Alexa. We don't have it in the house, but honestly, Alexa, the kids are hysterical because every time I go there, Alexa and I get into like this screaming match where she does not listen to me. Like it's well known, Alexa does not like me. And no matter what I ask her for, she will not do. She will ignore me. She will give me something I don't want. And I wind up like screaming at Alexa. And it's like, it's a problem. It's really
that's funny. Yeah, we have the Google Nest like around the house, and I tell my grandmother, if you need anything, hey, just tell Google, hey Google. She's like, I don't trust the machine. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to trust it.
Saturday Night Live once did. It's great. It's a skit on YouTube somewhere where it's like it's Alexa for seniors, but they're like they're like, Andrea, Alanis, what is your name again? Like, what is going on over there? This people on the street, and they're like yelling. It's hilarious because it's like these seniors trying to get Alexa to work for them. I can't even get Alexa to work for me, and so it's so funny. Like if you get a chance to look that up, that will definitely make you laugh. It reminds you of your grandparents. It's funny. Yeah,
it's like, hey Ashley, tell me what.
There's two people talking on the corner. They look suspicious. What's going on over there?
You get a big paper sign, just put it on top of it. Hey, I love the new music video for Second Element. Really cool, nostalgic, kind of the green screen and everything, and like that must still be fun, making videos and stuff, right?
I love making videos. I love it. It's so much fun. Ritchie hates making videos. He usually will give them one take and then he's out of there. But so then 99% of the work winds up on me, which is why you see so much of me in the videos because somebody's got to shoulder that, the rest.
Hey, what? Somebody's got to be the face. I mean, come on, you're all right.
We did a video once. He was so annoyed at the video people that we were in Poland and he didn't even show up for the video. And it was like me and the rest of the video. This is a true story and exclusive, but it's very funny because we were doing Way to Mandalay. We were in a place called Belichka, which is a UNESCO site. It's literally like you have to go down a mine shaft into this incredible salt cave, like a mining area for salt and everything. I mean, it's been on like the Discovery Channel and it's incredible. But we filmed our video. We also did a show down there and we filmed the Way to Mandalay down there and everything. It looks like the floors are marble. The chandeliers are crystal. It's all made of salt, like mined. It's gorgeous. But if you watch half of that video, you'll see that when the band and I are doing our parts, Ritchie is not.
Which video is it again?
Way to Mandalay.
Way to Mandalay.
You'll totally see it. So, but it's funny because, he was just like, he didn't like that the video people who we originally had they came with one camera, which means you start at 8:00 in the morning and then they have to shoot each shot like 15 times. And he's like, bring 3 cameras. So, you have all those different, like everything he was saying made sense and him doing it for decades already. He was like, come on, guys, get this together. Like, don't waste my time if you're not gonna. So I showed up because I'm trying to do the professional thing, be like, no, we have to film this video. Let's do it. And he was like, I'm not doing it if they're not together, which I understood. And then the people like actually made the video and sent it to the record company. And they were like, there's just one problem. And the woman's watching it. She's like, what's the problem? They go, Ritchie's not in it. And the woman from the record company went, oh my God. She's like, got it off speaker. She's like, what do you mean Ritchie's not in the video?
Oh man, that's amazing.
We had to reshoot all these different takes just to get him like walking down the road. Oh
so if he was annoyed at first, I can imagine how annoyed he was after that. I would just be like, get out of here.
Try to resurrect this video with just any clips of him just like walking by a castle, you know, when I was like, oh my God, it was fun times for sure.
Oh, that is amazing. It's like, you know, the fact that he just couldn't be bothered. And then it's like, oh God, all right.
Yeah. And now take two, like try it all over again. And, you know, I get, you know, it's funny. He has that mindset where he's like, if I'm going to show up and I'm going to be professional, I expect other people to be professional too and bring their A game. And I get it, you know, so I can't really complain about it. I understand that perspective. You're dealing with a professional. You should come with the 3 cameras and the dolly and all your stuff, and not one handheld camera, you know.
Do it right. Yeah, do it right the first time.
Right, exactly. So it becomes like this, I don't know, this tricky little world we got to keep balanced and live in, you know, to make everybody happy and you know, deliver what you got to deliver. But this one went really well. Actually, they didn't expect him to even film the video, and he wound up filming it. And we did the green screen. And of course, it was, you know, the pandemic and everything is going on. So we had to make sure that all the crew guys, you know, were wearing masks and that they all had their tests, because you just don't know what's going on. I had a friend of mine. He's a big wrestler, famous wrestler. His name is Mick Foley. He also,
of course, the hardcore legend.
Hardcore legend. That's right. So we actually connected.
Hold on, I got a thumbtack in my leg. Let me pull it out here.
Some barbed wire wrapped around your arm or whatever.
I should have barbed wire around this. It'll be my barbed wire baseball. It's my mic, barbed wire mic.
Exactly. So he actually tweeted out to me during the pandemic when it first started. I didn't know him, but he discovered Diamonds and Rust. During the pandemic. He was a huge Joan Baez fan. Diamonds and Rust is one of his favorite songs. Wow. He saw it on Access TV, decided he was going to look up other people who did Diamonds and Rust, found our version, loved it, then went out and bought like the Christmas album and was tweeting it to all of his followers. He's got like over 1 million followers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, you know, wow, that's nice of him. I never met him before. And we wound up kind of connecting during the pandemic, and he loved the music and we became friends. And he was telling me that not too long ago, it was December, he was doing an interview, and the interviewer was sitting there and asked him to take his mask off. So, you know, it would make a better visual. The interviewer took his mask off, and Mick was like testing all the time. I mean, he was like really he was very pro masks and the whole deal. And sure enough, later on that night, the interviewer called him up and said, look, I've got symptoms of COVID. I'm just letting you know. And sure enough, Mick wound up like missing the whole Christmas season of being with his family and stuff. And that's like his main season. And all because of one interaction, that's all it takes. So we wanted to make sure everybody was safe with our video. And we cited that specifically. We're like, look, we know this just happened to a friend of ours. So we all want to be safe. And everybody came, we did the EPK. We were there for a good like 4 or 5 hours, just talking, doing EPK stuff and videos. And I love the way it came out. I think it came out really, really good. So no complaints.
I thought it was great. And, you know, I mean, like the songs, the whole record, first of all, it just sounds really good. Like, you know, today records, they can just sound, you know, digital and stuff. Whereas, you know, you guys got instruments going, and, you know, it actually sounds like musicians playing, and it sounds really good. So I got to give you guys a big compliment to that.
Thank you. It's good to hear. That's good to hear. And plus we're trying, you know, not only do we use, you know, the latest instruments, you know, it's funny because people will say to me, you know, I'll wear like just grab a Blackmore's nightshirt or whatever, and it has like the shawms and the guitars, like it's a little logo. Yeah. I've had people say to me, oh, are you a musician? Do you play an instrument? And I'm like, I do. And then in my brain, I fast forward in the conversation, knowing that whatever I mention to them that I play, they're basically going to glaze over and be like, oh, because if it's not bass, guitar, drums, keyboards, they go, oh, that's nice. And they kind of walk away because they have no idea. Shawms, Roush Fifes, cornemuses, crumhorns, hurdy-gurdies. It's like,
I play the spoons.
I heard you are a mean spoon player, man. I hear you can kick it with the best of them. But so it's a funny thing. But so we're very lucky that I can play this whole array of double reed woodwind instruments. So you've got that sound to it, you know, that definitely adds a different dimension to the typical 5-piece band, you know, what we got going on. And Ritchie's got nickel harp, hurdy-gurdy, mandola, mandolin, you know, so both of us can do like these giant ensembles, being multi-tracked in a studio, and then you add the rest of the people in, and it just becomes this very different sort of authentic but multi-dimensional sound that I think I haven't really heard today being done very much. So we're really, really happy that, it's very identifiable within our band, Blackmore's Night.
Yeah. And I mean, with this being the 11th studio record at this point, it's like, I think you can just kind of do whatever you want.
24 years. 24 years in this band. It's incredible. You blink and time just goes like that. So we've had, I remember having little 5-year-old girls come up to the stage, or little boys come up to the stage. And, then, later on, these little kids that I remember them as being 5-year-old, all of a sudden they bring their own kids to our concerts. And it's generational. It's just amazing how fast time goes, but how much the music has still transcended. Like, there's no gender gap, there's no generation gap. It's for all ages. It's not more specifically geared towards men or towards women or kids or grandparents. Like, it's for everybody. And I love seeing those families out singing along to every word when we were playing our shows. We got to get back to that.
Yeah. I can't wait to get back to live music. It's like here where I'm at. It's I got my first dose of the vaccine, but the way they're doing it over here, it's like they're all backwards. It's like they've turned everything political. It's like yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go, but who knows? I just want to get back to a concert.
On Long Island, I mean, out here, it took me forever to try to find anything for my mom specifically, and it was just like, nope, not available, not available, not available. Well, telling everybody they have to get vaccinated, but nothing's available. Like, what do you expect people to do? It's I believe it's pretty political here as well. So I know.
Yeah, a buddy of mine in Jersey was saying that, he tried to go to a CVS and they were like, no, we're already booked. And then he got like a call like 2 hours later, like, oh, somebody didn't show up. We have a dose for you. And he's like, great. And he was able to go and get his first dose. And it was the same thing for his second dose. So he's fully vaccinated now. And I'm like, yeah.
It's like a drug deal, though. It's like, hey, I got a dose for you.
Pretty much, man. Yo, my 4 o'clock. Yo, you want this bag? Like, what? Like,
hanging on the street corner in a trench coat or something. Just like it's.
Yeah. All right. So you want Moderna? You want Pfizer? Like, which one do you? I got it all.
Exactly.
Hey, let me ask you a question here. So you were saying that Ritchie, likes to sit and record his demos like on tape and stuff. When it comes to actual recording it for the record, is he still old school, with the analog amps and the pedal boards and everything, or is he going, like the digital route with the plugins and all that?
He has this tape machine that he uses to get certain effects, which he's been using. He kind of modified it. It's an Owie tape machine that he uses to get his specific sound. I don't know the ins and outs of it or what he's done to it or whatever, but I know this is the guy who's basically taken all of my knives and uses them as like, screwdrivers and stuff. So right. I'm sure, like, if anybody tried to duplicate it, like I don't think it would wind up the same exact way, but so he's always doing filing things down on the, all the tables are marred here because like filing goes on. But he just does things as he goes along. But it's funny because when we first recorded our album, Shadow of the Moon, back in 1997, they had the producer we used, his name is Pat Regan, and he had done, we met him overseas because he was doing Come Hell or High Water for the live Deep Purple concert in 1993. Right. And then Ritchie used him in Stranger in Us All. So that was for Rainbow. And then we were like, well, we know him. Do you think he'll do our stuff too? So we got him to do Shadow of the Moon and loved that really clear, pristine sound that he got from it. And he was using an Otari radar system. I sound like I'm speaking Greek because I don't know what any of this stuff means. No, good. But he brought it to our home and set it up we have like this dungeon bar room downstairs in our lower. It's got medieval torture devices on the walls. And like Ritchie always wanted just a pub. He didn't want a studio. He wanted to be the only musician who had a pub, English pub or German pub in his house. So we have that. But then we were like, in reality, we do sort of need a studio. So we have this one little room, and Pat Regan had brought over his equipment that he used on Shadow of the Moon, and he set it up here. And it's this huge wall of stuff. And Ritchie said, you know what? Pat was like, I think I'm going to upgrade my stuff. And Ritchie said, well, why don't you leave that here so you don't have to bring it back and forth from LA to New York every time you want to record. We'll leave it here, and then you could plug into whatever you need to, and be easier for transport.
Meanwhile, Ritchie's like, oh yes, leave it here.
Well, You would think so, but again, Ritchie doesn't know how to do any of this technology. He knows amps back, he could rewire his amp back and forth, but like we say, can't use a cell phone. So there's like that weird kind of balance. So when it comes to studio stuff, so sure enough, Pat Regan leaves it here, and then the next year upgrades everything and decides all this stuff is obsolete and never uses it again. So now he's bringing Pro Tools back and forth. I got a big wall of equipment that nobody knows how. People are like, oh, Otari, Radar, that's dinosaur stuff. I'm like,
wow.
So in a while we like turn it on to heat up our hands like in the wintertime just to like, keep the room warm.
Giant heater.
Have some pretty lights going back and forth and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just like he's using the modern day stuff. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it's nuts. A buddy of mine has he has like one of the first ever Synclavier sample machines that were made like back in the 80s. And he has it in his basement. He has like the keyboard, but the tower itself is like floor to ceiling, like a big rack. And he's like, just to turn it on, like the electric bill is just like,
my God. It's huge. Exactly. So that's the funny thing. Like we just look at it like, okay, I guess it's part of the decor at this point, and just like leave the rest of the stuff up to the producer. He comes with his little suitcase. He opens things up. He's got a little keyboard down there and adds the rest of there, does that stuff. So
that's funny, man. That's nuts. Yeah. Cause I was watching the music video and, listening to the record and stuff. It's like the guitar tones that he's still getting. I mean, he still sounds like him. And more importantly, he's still playing the tastiest inspired licks ever. Like the dude he'll never give up. I love it.
I know. And you know what I love about him too, is that there's a few things, but one of them is that he loves to vacuum. That's our secret. So he vacuums the house, which is the real reason I married him. But no, that's not true. No, it is true, but it's not why I married him.
Yeah.
So just to clarify,
a man that can vacuum. Come on, ladies. It's hard to find.
Was going to be the soundbite, like that would have been it. But no, I mean, the cool thing about him is that he can never play the same thing the same way twice. Like literally, it's physically impossible for him to do that. So when he goes downstairs into the studio area, or even like playing, in the other room, if he's going to try to play something, it comes out different every time. And for other band members, they're like, wait a second, we just learned these chords and now you're changing it to that. And he has no idea that he actually changed it. Like it's just for him, he's like pulling, I swear he's like pulling from above. There's like something that it's almost like he misses this step and goes right to heart. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't analyze things away or like keep that recorder in his head where he can like replay it and go, oh, these are the notes. It literally goes like from somewhere above right to his heart, right out of his fingers. Like he's channeling these amazing solos, amazing intros, the way that he writes. I don't even know if people realize that when he's composing, he'll come down, listen to a song, he will like put this incredible thing on, like incredible lick on the final, what we think is probably going to be the final portion of the song. And then he'll come back and listen to it and be like, nope, take it out. I'd rather hear a recorder. And it's like, you're taking out an electric guitar, which is amazing right now for a different instrument. It's like, that's not what the song is calling for. The song is calling for this sound. And so it's not ego-based, you know what I mean? It's song-based. Yeah. It's all music for him. And that's another reason he doesn't go to the awards shows. He's not seen with the right people. He's not hanging with the right musicians. He's not like, calling the record company. But he's so out of that world because all he ever wanted to do was play guitar. Like that's where he goes. He's so introverted and everything comes through that guitar. That's how he speaks to people. It's not from here, it's from here, So once you understand that about him, I think you get a whole new a new respect for him as a musician and what he comes out with. It's brilliant.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And really at the end of the day, he lets the music do the talking, and that's how it should be.
How it should be. That's what we think, exactly. And just watching him, I know a lot of people say, oh, how involved with the creative process do you get? I'm like, you know what? I have full reign on the lyrics, on, where I'm going to go with, the harmonies and doing my parts on it. But when it comes to who's pulling the reins musically on the song, I mean, someone who's as much of a genius as Ritchie, you just got to kind of sit back, enjoy that creative process. If he asks me, specifics about like, what do you think about this, or do you have any idea? Then I definitely participate and tell him what I think. But just being in that room and watching him go and like just being part of that process, you learn so much. Every time I learn so much. So
yeah. I mean, it just seems like a real creative environment. It's like, how many songs do you guys think, between the two of you have sort of just recorded laying around? Like, would you ever consider selling them off to other artists, or have you done outside writing for other people? Or
I haven't done. I participated on other people's projects. I did. Did you ever hear of Avantasia? Is a great band. Yeah. So I did Moonglow. They came out with Moonglow. Tobias Sammet sent over Moonglow. It was the title track. I didn't realize it was going to be the title track of the CD, and he sent it over. And I did my vocals on it, and it was amazing. And then when I started, figuring out who else was in it, it was like Jeff Tate was in it, and oh my gosh, Eric Martin, like all these amazing,
a lot of people, yeah.
A lot of people. So I couldn't do the tour because we were touring on our own stuff then, but being able to do Moonglow was just, I love doing that. And then I did some stuff with Halloween. I think it was their very first duet they ever did, which was Light the Universe, which was amazing. Yeah. As far as our stuff is concerned, we don't really write for other people. I guess we could. I don't even think we've really been asked. We kind of participate, like we participated in the William Shatner project.
Okay, yeah.
Came out and was like on the blues charts. We did a couple of things with William Shatner. I know
my buddy Adam Hamilton was one of the producers on that.
Oh, that's amazing! Yeah, he and Bill's they're just such a nice guy. He's like such a great guy. Like, how do you say no to him? He interprets things, and maybe not singing, but it's interpretation, and that's his thing. That's his style. Yeah. So, and I know Ritchie did some stuff with Pat Boone. I mean, we're kind of like all over the place with that stuff. But for our own stuff, we just kind of keep it like, within our realm. And we do have a few songs that we have come up with that haven't even made the, like some of the CDs. Because we're like, what, it doesn't feel like it fits on this CD. We'll hold on to that for another time. So there's stuff that's floating around.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of songwriters now. It's like, I was just talking to Linda Perry last week, and like, one of her biggest hits was with Pink, and she was like, I wasn't even expecting to even have worked with Pink, but it just so happened. Now she's working with Kylie Minogue and Adele and all these people. So it's like, if a top 40 pop artist ever came to you guys and said, hey, do you have a song for me? Like, I think that'd be kind of cool,
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I mean, we're open to writing for other people. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem. I don't know if our style of music, see, again, like Ritchie wouldn't probably, the stuff that we do, I don't know if it fits into today's perfectly genred world of, oh, here's a box, pop music, stamp on that, move that on. Here's a box, rock music, move that on. Like everything that we're doing is so varied. Mm-hmm. But we're not adverse to writing, with people.
And again, I mean, I feel, in 2021, it's all kind of fluid, especially with the way playlists work and everything. You could be listening to a Pink song, and then all of a sudden Johnny Cash might come on, or, and then Kiss, and then, Shania Twain. It's like for me and like the people that I know, we're just so into everything and anything. So,
love that.
I mean, who knows,
I love that. And that's how it should be. That's what I always said when Ritchie was saying about, performing in this band or playing in this band. One of the coolest things about being in this band was having the creative freedom to play anything you want to, whenever you want to. And isn't that what being an artist is all about? What music is all about? Any form of art. You should be able to play whatever you want to, whenever you want to. And once you have the creative freedom to do that, it's hard to go back into that one box of one genre,
Yeah.
What's the box? They say, put me in a box when I'm dead. Not now. Now we're having fun playing music.
Yeah. That's why my day job, I'm a top 40 radio DJ where, I play the Katy Perry and the Lady Gaga on the radio. But then on the podcast, I like talking to people like you and, like sort of like that's off brand because it's stuff that I'm genuinely interested in. And then the audience sees it and they don't see it as off brand. They just see it as, well, it's Jeremy and that's what Jeremy's into. And, so that's what I mean. It's all kind of fluid now in 2021.
I mean, a lot of people, they like to say to me, well, how would you categorize your music? How would you? And I'm like, I've heard it categorized as everything from Renaissance rock to bard rock. Like I'm hearing all these different names come up, but to me, it's just melodic music. I mean, it's literally music with a strong melody to it. That's what it is to me. I mean, I don't know when we became so stringent that we had to have these walls up and these limitations. I don't understand it. I listen to everything too. So
everybody just wants to put a label on something. It's like, come on, just enjoy it,
Exactly.
Did you guys
rely on people like you?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
It's funny you said Renaissance rock. Did you guys watch the TV show The Witcher?
No.
On Netflix? It's kind of funny. He's almost like a Renaissance John Wick in a way. The guy, but it's still like mythical and like kind of stuff. It's really cool. And I was listening to the record, and I'm like, man, like a couple of these songs could easily been in a series like The Witcher or something. So, have you guys been approached to have any of your tunes in like TV shows or anything, or?
Yeah,
and then I want to follow that up.
We haven't had very much luck with publishers, I have to say. I think the last time they put our song in something, it was for Jim Carrey's film Yes Man.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And so we were not expecting it, like we could I could talk to a publisher and be like, oh, put this here and try, what about this there? Can we try this there? And I will spend so much time going through all of our music and trying to place things. And I'm not getting anywhere because it's really up to the publisher to place it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, oh, by the way, your song's going to be in a Jim Carrey movie. And we were like, what? And it turns out it's Old Millin'. It's like a total sing-along song. And everybody is dressed as they're having a Spartan party.
Right.
Like, all dressed as Spartans, and somebody like gets fired, and it's a really sad point. And meanwhile, everybody in the background's like singing along, like swinging their beer mugs. I'm like, this is the weirdest placement, but I am not complaining. That's fantastic.
You're like, we got paid. Use it however you want.
I'm happy to see it up there. That's great.
That's awesome. With this music now, I know we're running out of time, but did you guys ever consider putting on like a stage show with this music, in the sense that you get like, you write a script and incorporate the melody, the music with like an actual show, almost like a play kind of thing? Because I could totally see this as like like a production.
I know it would be I mean, I can't even imagine how something like that gets started. If you know anybody who wants to do something like that, let me know. We'll work with them. But it's like, it's an amazing concept. It's an amazing idea. And there's so many songs out there. We often have people write into us asking us for permission to use our stuff in, it's like the inspirations for books or for TV pilots that they're working on, things like that are, in the works and stuff. Renaissance fairs, that want to use our songs as you're going through, through the fair grounds and stuff like that, or in their commercials. But nothing that's been like a really big conceptual thing like that. That would really, it's so visual, and like the lyric lines have so much storyline to it.
Yes.
But, we've even had people like actually write huge, like full on poems where they've like used every single title, like just made these incredible like stories and poems, like somehow referencing every single title in all of our works. And it's amazing what the fans wind up doing or coming up with. Sometimes what the fans do is even better than what the paid professionals wind up, like videos and stuff that you find on YouTube that they made to your music, and it's incredible stuff that they do. So we're always up for interesting ideas.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think the fans are probably some of the best creators, because A, they're the consumer, and B, they consume all of it. So I'm pretty sure if you hired a fan to come up with something, it would probably be pretty decent.
I'm sure. I'm always blown away by we have the most creative people, and they do it for love.
Except the creepy fans. Those you can stay. Stay in your mom's basement.
That's the problem. You never know the creepy people until you kind of get into it, and that's anything in life. Like, that's like a normal walk of life. I would love for people when they're like actually creepy people to just have that, somehow need to have that tattooed on their head. I am a creepy person. So like, because otherwise you get pulled into it. I always say, like, I'm a believer. I always want to believe in the good of everybody. And then I get sucked in, and then I find out, maybe I shouldn't have done that, and other people they saw it like red flags all over the place. But there's me going, no, I'm sure they're fine. Like I'm that person. I gotta, I see through the eyes of a child, like the innocence, and I don't know. I got to start hardening up. But then I don't know. I wouldn't want to be that person who's hard. I love seeing things through the eyes of a child. That's why nature is so inspirational for me. It's like, miracles and magic are occurring in front of you literally every day of your life, every moment. You watch the colors of a sunset, you watch the blooming of a flower, you feel the wind in your hair. You get this deep spiritual like satisfaction, and it's so inspirational. That is where songs are born. That is where poetry is born. And I'm so like emphatic about it, and it moves me so much that I'm always like telling people that that's how you heal your spirit and your soul. And I used to have been saying it for years, like whether it's you're stressed from the day, a lot of people come in, they turn on the television, they eat food, they go to sleep, they do the same thing the next day, or they get on this, For me, it's like, what? Shut it down. Take a walk, go walk through woods, go look at a starry sky. And I promise you'll feel better. Like you will clear out the clouds from your head and you'll feel so much better. And I think that that's one of the great things about, if you could say great things about this pandemic, is I found that a lot of people I'm noticing we're surrounded by woods and by water. So I'm noticing a lot of more people are actually out there kind of getting introspective, finding that peace within their souls and within themselves. Because really you don't have, when you're on lockdown, it's make or break. Like you either go insane or you have to find something to do, like creatively, something to an outlet. So you can't be around your friends and family as much as you used to. You can't be doing the things that you took for granted for so long. What do? It's you on your own. What are you going to do? Are you going to crack? And a lot of people do, or
a lot of people have.
Or how do you fix this where you could say, okay, I will get through this. Where is the light at the end of the tunnel? And so I feel like now, especially, the weather's changing, the winter's going, the darkness of the pandemic is starting to fade a bit. The sun's coming through, we got some good music out here. Nature is now, opening her arms, welcoming us with open, warm, the sun on our face. And it's so healing. So I found a lot more people kind of going to nature to get them out of these dark times. And that's a beautiful thing. They're finding that sense of self again,
Yeah. No, totally. And like you said, people have either cracked or they've made the best of the time. And, a lot of artists and a lot of people are putting out new music still. And, with the anticipation of going on the road, and we're going to get back to normal at some point. So we got to be prepared for it.
I believe in it.
Yeah. Well, Candice, wow, this is awesome. We've, I think we went over the time. We're good.
Gosh, oh my gosh, you're right. Yeah. I gotta go pick up my kids at school, but I had such a good time talking to you. Hopefully we could do this again at some point.
Absolutely.
I feel like we're old friends now.
Yeah, this is great. Well, hey, you know what? Hardcore legend Mick Foley. We'll get him on the next call. We'll have some fun. We'll get Ritchie in the basement dungeon pub studio. I mean, geez.
It's perfect. If you want to look up something funny, Mick actually was in our dungeon pub basement at one point. He's a huge Kinks fan too.
Oh, cool.
And we had covered Celluloid Heroes, my husband, in Blackmore's Night. And so Mick actually was like, Ritchie took out the guitar while Mick was here, and he was just like playing, like Ritchie does. That's what he does. He's playing whatever. And he went into Celluloid Heroes, and Mick and I started singing Celluloid Heroes. So that's actually, you got to look at that one. That's on YouTube.
I'm so going to look that up right now. That's amazing.
The hardcore legend singing together Celluloid Heroes. He's a good guy.
Ritchie guitar. That's a great trio. Come on.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe we'll have him. I don't know. He'll have to come in. We'll do harmonies at some point. I'll do his harmonies, and he could sing on stage with us at some. We'll figure something out.
Hardcore Blackmore's Night. There you go. In concert this Saturday.
Love it. Perfect.
All right, Blackmore's Night, Nature's Light. It's the 11th studio album, available now. Check out the new video for Second Element. It's available on YouTube. Get it wherever music is sold. It's on the LPs, it's on the vinyl. They're doing everything. You got to get it. And this way, you got to buy the CD and the vinyl, because when you go see them back at the shows, if you get the chance to meet them, it may be a rare occurrence, but if you do get the chance, they have to sign your CD, your vinyl.
Absolutely.
You can't sign your Spotify.
No, absolutely. We have a beautiful gold and yellow vinyl that's out there, and we've got the black, classic black vinyl, and we always Ritchie will always take time to sign for a fan, and we usually stop at the end of the shows and just sign for people, that come up there, and he's handing beers out all the time. So it's nice to do streaming, but this screen is very one-dimensional.
I want to hug you, but I can't.
I know, I feel like a mime, but so we're missing that energy of the live shows. So I'm starting to see, like I said, that light at the end of the tunnel, and we're talking to our agent, and hopefully we'll be able to get back on the road and start doing live concerts again soon. So we'll see everybody out there as soon as it's physically possible. We're all healthy, we're all safe, and then we'll be able to get back to that again. I love it. Man, I can't wait to meet you guys. We'll have to come to a show at some point and say hi. And yeah, this was great. Well, make sure you check this out. Blackmore's Night is available now. All right. Thanks, Candice. This was awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. Take care. Have a good day.
See you later.
Bye.